Welcome back to this week's episode on the pod. We have a lovely guest here today.
Sam Lady?
Yes,
I
sir.
drum rolled over his voice. It's Sam Leedy.
That's kind of rude.
He's addicted to Coke. Diet Coke, that is.
What a way to start. We're back.
We're back. We went from 1 to 3.
Yes.
If you watched last week's episode, it was just me. It's very sad.
Like the multiplication of loaves, except with people. Anyway.
All right. Sam, you want to kick us off with the first reading?
Yeah, sure thing.
All right. Or do you want to actually introduce yourself a little?
Yeah,
Let-
sure.
let's-
My name's Sam. I go to Eau Claire here for applied math and stats. I'm very active in the Newman community. So you most likely have seen me around playing cribbage or chatting it up with all the lovely people at Newman. So
Yes, sir.
I'll be graduating this May, so a lot of things to look forward to. Gonna be going back down home, down by Milwaukee area. So it'll be a little bit of bittersweet moment leaving Newman, but excited to see what my career brings and what my future holds.
Yes.
What a great intro.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, we can go ahead and start off with the readings. And so we have a reading from the book of Zephaniah. Seek the Lord, all you humble of the earth, who have observed his law. Seek justice, seek humility. Perhaps you may be sheltered on the day of the Lord's anger. But I will leave as a remnant in your midst, a people humble and lowly, who shall take refuge in the name of the Lord, the remnant of Israel. They shall do no wrong and speak no lies, nor shall there be found in their mouths a deceitful tongue. They shall pasture and couch their flocks, with none to disturb them.
This says, I guess the common theme for all of the readings today, all about humility, humbleness. I guess the second part, at least for me, was a little confusing. 'Cause like the first part talks about, perhaps you may be sheltered on the day of the Lord's anger if you observe his law, seek justice, seek humility. But then it seems like the second part is then more specifically talking about God's people with that. So I'm wondering if like the first part is like talking about everyone, including like Gentiles, and then the second part is specific. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts?
Yeah. It's completely cut you off because you're totally wrong. He does say the remnant of Israel, and when when the Bible references Israel, he's usually talking about God's people. And then also I want to point out that it does say, "Who shall take refuge in the name of the Lord?" I think it's important that whenever we're down or whenever we need someone or something, we should always go to God. Like he reminded us last week, he's like, "I will be the light in your darkness." And he's like, and now he's like, "I will be your refuge, like come home and you'll be safe again."
I think too, it's just going back to this idea of the remnant of Israel, because if you thought about the Israelites, like they saw themselves in the Messiah to be this great warrior who was going to topple Rome, and Israel as an earthly kingdom was going to reign forever. Like that was their idea. And so like we see this paradigm shift in the prophets, as well as obviously fulfilled through Jesus Christ, where no, we actually need to embrace humility. We need to be meek and such. And so, yeah, just this complete flip of what Israel was thinking at the time, and hence why we have the remnant of Israel, those who are humble and lowly, who shall take the name or the refuge in the name of the Lord. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's I like the last one. It says they shall pasture and couch their flocks with none to disturb them. I think that's just like all of that kind of theme of, you know, shepherding um and how like we're also called to, you know, help tend the flock.
Yeah.
Um,
I
you know,
mean, Jesus is the good shepherd, the one good shepherd.
yeah.
But you know, as Christians, as Catholics, we're called to be other Christs in the world, multi Christus.
Yeah,
And so, you know, definitely whatever you've done for the least of my brethren, you've done for me.
exactly.
I'm good. You good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's move on to the second reading that Tom will head off for us.
All right. This reading is from First Corinthians, chapter 1, verses 26 through 31. Consider your own calling, brothers and sisters. Not many of you were wise by human standards, but many were powerful. Not many were of noble birth. Rather, God chose the foolish of the world to shame the wise, and God chose the weak of the world to shame the strong, and God chose the lowly and despised of the world, those who count for nothing, to reduce to nothing those who are something, so that no human being might boast before God. It is due to him that you are in Christ Jesus, who became for us wisdom from God, as well as righteousness, sanctification, and redemption, so that as it is written, whoever boasts should boast in the Lord.
I like the part where he goes, God chose the lowly and despised of the world, those who come for nothing. I mean, when you think about the birth of Jesus, he was literally in the lowest of lows. He was in some manger in a stable. Like, he was
Yeah.
literally birthed while a cow could have been birthed right next to him.
Yeah.
Like, well,
Yeah.
not cows over there, but you get it. And you'll see time and time again in the Bible, it's like Jesus picks lepers. They pick uh ladies of the night, um and all these like supposedly outcasts of society, and he heals them and brings them closer to God and his society.
I mean, if you think too, the first person that he revealed himself as the Messiah to was the woman and the Samaritan woman at the well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, somebody who wasn't even Jewish,
Mm-hmm.
let alone a woman, let alone somebody who had, I think, 4 or 5 husbands. You know, he's just reaching out to the, if you will, the marginalized. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, who did he choose to be, you know, the vicar of Christ, the leader of
yeah,
the church?
exactly.
Peter, who had a lot of great moments, but a lot of really bad moments
Mm-hmm.
throughout it. But he still chose him to be the rock of the church. Uh, yeah.
I think too, what really stood out to me was rather God chose the foolish of the world to shame the wise. And when you originally look at the word foolish, it seems like an insult almost. Um, but I feel like we are called to be fools for Christ, if you've heard that term. Um, but it's interesting just because it sounds like an insult, but at the same time, I think it's recognizing those people who know that they know nothing, if you will, like that they're always willing to learn, um, that they don't put themselves on that high pedestal of I'm right or I know everything, and hence when they're open to teaching and receiving word, um, that's when they can truly encounter the Lord and learn from Him and accept His message.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, kind of makes me think of when Jesus came and said, you know, I'm not here I'm not here to heal those who are righteous. He's here to heal those, I mean, the people who are lowly and sinful and foolish, I guess, and like what you were talking about, came to heal those people. He didn't come from the righteous.
Yeah, it's not the healthy people who need a doctor,
Yeah,
who
exactly.
need a physician.
Yeah, I like the beginning when it kind of talks about vocations, and he says, "Consider your own calling," and then he lists, "Not all of us are born wise. Not all of us are born noble. Not all of us are born powerful." It's like if you're not born the son of a king, you're not supposed to be a king. Like if you're not born the son of God, then you're not Jesus Christ. Like so many people pretended to be Jesus, or they're like, I am the prophet, or people had it wrong. And they're like, you're the prophet. And you're like, no, I'm not the prophet. Jesus is the prophet. And so a lot of people don't realize the certain vocations that we already have laid out for us. Sam looks confused.
A little, but
But you
I'm
know,
trying
you
to
get what I'm
follow.
saying? Like there was a lot of people who claimed to be false prophets,
Sure.
and it's like they weren't doing their vocation in life. It was like they're trying to level up. So many people try to level up on earth. Like if you're born really poor, some people are like, "Oh, I'm going to be super rich." And it's like, "Well, maybe you're not meant to be super rich. Maybe you're meant to be poor,
So
but
like,
live close with God."
people like pretending to be something that they're not.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
I think I understand what you're saying.
It's just too profound. You can't grasp it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm very profound.
My foolish brain.
Foolish brain.
My foolish brain can't comprehend
You
Paul's
were not
message.
born with the wise by human standards.
Paul, on the other hand, was.
One of us here was.
Um, I also like the ending where he goes, "Whoever boasts should boast in the Lord."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why would you? Nah, I'm just grasping my straws. That's good stuff.
I mean, there is something to be said about it. Just
I was
we
just going
think
to
of,
place.
we think of boasting, we think of pride,
Yeah.
and it's wrong to be prideful in yourself, but
Mhm.
it's a great thing to have pride in the Lord, to be one of His, to say you'd be proud of your position as a Christian. I think that's a good thing, but not to go overboard with that,
Mhm.
because there are certain people that can definitely be boastful
Mhm.
about it to a degree that
Yeah.
It's got to be like there's got to be a challenge for like priests and bishops and stuff because
Yeah,
they were given
right.
all of this authority.
It's that inner recognition that we're all sinners, and priests and bishops and the Pope himself. I mean, just we're all wretched sinners.
Yeah.
So
And like,
going back to humility,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, embracing it, realizing that you are nothing
mhm.
without the Lord.
I feel like when people read this too, they're like, oh, I have to stand on a street corner and like project God's word on everybody. And it's like, no, because it's also like, are you doing that for the goodness of God? Or are you doing that to show God how good you are? It's like, what is your main intention here? And like a lot of time, like the people that like preach in the streets or like purposely are like, yeah, look at me. I'm this amazing Christian. And you're like, are you?
I understand what you're saying, but I don't know. We definitely do need street ministers um, for certain purposes. But yeah, I see what you're saying with, especially you see a lot of videos online, and
Yeah, I think people are like
they
screaming.
can be really inflammatory.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And so yeah, that's a little unsatisfactory to see. But I mean, really, the I think the best way that one can boast in the Lord and is just proclaiming the word through action. You know, that's the biggest thing. How are you living your life? You know, are you living a life that leads you as well as those around you closer to Christ, or are you the thief who breaks into the sheepfold? But thankfully, the sheep don't listen to his voice because they only know the shepherd's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Good.
got anything else, anyone?
No, I don't think so.
All
Awesome.
right.
Good stuff.
Let's move to the gospel. There'll be
It's
Matthew
it's a long one.
5. Yeah, can't believe I lost rock, paper, scissors. Wow. Chapter 5, verses 1 through 12a. Off to a good start. Here we go. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the mountain, and after he had sat down, his disciples came to him. He began to teach them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the land. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the clean of heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are they who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when they insult you and persecute you and utter every kind of evil against you, falsely because of me. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven."
Yeah, I kind of had to um before we came here, I kind of had to look up what the poor in spirit like really meant. Because I mean, I think commonly some people can go to like, oh, it's the people who are poor like physically and who are, out on the streets or have nothing material. But really what it's saying is that you're poor in spirit because you don't have this attachment to these physical needs, and all of your dependence is on God. So I think that is really interesting because because I mean, obviously it would be easier if you don't have much to depend on God because you don't have much for material things. So it's like not as hard to like let things go. But I mean, for like those who have a lot of material things, it's harder for them to depend completely on God, because they depend on all of this other stuff to satisfy their needs and everything.
I'd like to know what you think about this because I've always been of the impression that blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. That was more like in reference to those who are broken. I mean, provided all of us are broken, but um, those in especially broken situated, very difficult situations. I mean, if you look at, I think that The Chosen does a really good way of depicting it. But Mary Magdalene, when Jesus calls her, um, it's a scene in a tavern, and she's about to get drunk, and he's like, "That's not going to help you." And then it cuts later to outside, and he calls her by name. Um, and so like she was a woman that was tormented by demons and um, just in the lowest of places in spirit. That was always my impression of what the first beatitude was. I'm
It's
curious
interesting.
what your thoughts are.
Time to go on a rant that makes no sense.
Me?
No, me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's all I've done this episode. I would say I always thought the poor in spirit was kind of what both of you were saying, when you literally just have no trust in God. and you don't live with God at all. Like when I think of poor in spirit, I think of people who are atheists or hate God. Like they don't believe him or trust him at all. And then I also think it kind of connects with when you're so attached to materialistic things, when you care more about what you have here on earth than what you have in heaven. I feel like that's also poor in spirit.
Yeah, but I feel like that kind of goes against what, because in the Beatitudes we're saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit." So
Yeah.
I feel like
Wait, so are you saying that like poor in spirit is those without trust in God? Or, like
Yeah.
because
Well,
I like genuinely like I
when I read like blessed,
wanna understand.
when I was reading this, I was thinking more of like pray for those who are, you know what I'm saying? Like
time to
citizens.
dissect Paul's brain and just his rationale.
I wasn't even thinking about this part, and Sam goes, "We want to hear your thoughts." And I go, "Oh, time to muster something together." Um,
That's interesting.
I think I think I I'm not quite sure how to respond to you, but that's okay.
See, when I read the Beatitudes, I think of people who need extra prayers, like people who are mourning the loss of someone, extra prayers. People who um are meek, they need extra prayers. That's what I think of when I like see the Beatitudes. You know what I'm saying?
I can understand what you're, but I wouldn't agree. I mean, look at blessed are the clean of heart, for they will see God.
Mm-hmm.
Clean of heart implies innocence, or clean of heart
Yeah.
implies purity. Um, and so why would they be? I mean, obviously they're human, so
Yeah.
they're all sinful creatures. But and so therefore they do need prayers. Everyone needs prayers. Um, but why would they be in need of extra prayers? So I think that maybe what you're looking for is a little bit of a different definition
Mm-hmm.
for blessed.
Yeah, I don't know much about the Beatitudes, to be honest. It's a very weak point.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more talking about like you yourself having like the attribute of one of these of one of these beatitudes or all of these
Right.
beatitudes. It's not like looking from an outside
Yeah.
perspective on
I
someone.
would agree with that
Yeah.
statement. So yeah. The other thing that really stuck out to me was blessed are you when they insult you and persecute you and utter every kind of evil against you falsely because of me. Um, and it's a little bit of a sidebar or tangent, but my mind immediately went to it's called the 21. Have you guys heard of it? It's a short film about the 21 Egyptian Coptic martyrs. So in 2015, ISIS essentially kidnapped Egyptian Coptic Christians who were in Libya, I think, working. Um, Kidnapped them, offered them money and freedom if they would deny Jesus. Um, and then there was another guy. There were actually 20 Egyptians, and then there was one guy from Ghana named Matthew. And and Matthew, he was told that he could go because he looked different than the Egyptians. ISIS didn't think that he was Christian. Like ISIS told him, "No, you're free to go. This was a mix-up." And he said, "No, I'm staying. Their God is my God." And so these 21 men, um, ended up getting martyred. And as tragic as it is, um, just their testimony to the faith, um, to brutality that they endured. up until ISIS posted the video of them online being martyred on a beach. And so, but now their bodies are venerated in a church in Egypt.
It's awesome.
And what's cool is that even though they weren't of the Roman rite, I believe it was Pope Francis. Yeah, Pope Francis added them to the official Roman canon for martyrs.
Hmm.
So they are, well, yeah, they're Roman saints, even though they were a part of the Egyptian Coptic Church.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
That's so cool. Yeah.
like I said, sidebar, but
No, that's
absolutely love
that's
that
interesting.
story.
Yeah, I feel like when people, when people ask the question like, "Oh, how would you prefer to die?" You know, I feel like, and I talked to my girlfriend about this, and
Franklin.
yes, and I forget. I think we saw someone ask the question or something, and then I feel like the usual response is like, "Oh, I want to die peacefully in my bed." I feel like that's like the generic response. But
Well,
part of me kind of wants to. I know it would be like super painful and super scary in the moment to be a martyr, but also like sounds really cool.
I've always been conflicted about that because, like, we're all called to be martyrs in a sense. There's red
Mm,
martyrs and there's white martyrs. Red martyrs who die a painful death for the faith, and white martyrs who, just happen to die to themselves and live out the faith and die peacefully, whatever. Um, but been conflicted with that because if you want to be a martyr, you would think, oh, the easiest way for me to do this is to fly to a dangerous place in the world and boldly preach the gospel. But that in and of itself seems almost like a like prideful.
yeah,
And
yeah,
are you doing it for the glory of God, or are you doing it
yeah.
for
No, like I'm not
you?
like I don't want to like look for an
Right,
opportunity to
right.
to get shot or something. But
But
like,
if it presents itself, I mean, yeah. So that's like why I've always been conflicted with like how does that work? How do I know if I'm truthfully nobody knows,
yeah.
obviously, because we'll have our lives flash before us at the time of judgment.
Yeah. What do you think, Paul?
Dude, death is scary. But I, if it came down to it, I would die a martyr. But would that be my top way to go? No.
I'd like to
I
say
want to be an old,
Yeah.
grumpy man and pass
Get off my
away.
lawn.
I don't need to die in my sleep. I just want to live a good, fulfilling life with Christ.
I mean, I would love to say, yeah, I'd be a martyr. Like, if given the opportunity, yeah, I'd be a martyr.
Yeah.
But like, can any of us actually say like, if we're looking death in the face, like, what is? I'm not saying that I would deny Jesus, but does anybody
Yeah. How
actually
would you
really know that
react?
question or
Exactly.
the answer to that question? That is
Yeah.
so difficult.
With
I
my
mean,
line of
Peter
work,
Peter
I'll let
denied
you know.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Exactly.
mean, going back to that.
Mm.
Have you guys
So,
ever seen the movie God's Not Dead?
I've
Yeah.
heard, haven't seen. I hear it was a really bad film.
Well, in the end, someone begins to die.
Oh,
I'm not going to say who, I'm not going to ruin the whole thing, but someone begins to die, and a priest who's one of the main actors in the movie, he happens to be there, and this guy hated God his whole life because his grandma died, and he goes, "Why would you take her away from me?" But anyways, he's dying, and he grew up Catholic or Christian, and the pastor, not the priest, the pastor comes up and he goes, "Do you accept Jesus Christ as your," as he's giving him like his last rites?
yeah.
He's like, "Do you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior?" And he says like, "Yes." And it's like he looked death in the eyes and he goes, "I've been wrong this whole time." He's like, I need Jesus."
Yeah, but I think the difference in this is you're looking death in the face, and you have an option to live, you
Mhm.
know, like somebody offers you the ability to live, continue to live if you give up Jesus. I mean, back in like the 3rd or 4th century, there's a group of priests that denied Jesus to live, just so that they wouldn't be persecuted
Mhm.
by, I think it was the Romans. It was in Africa, the Donatists, and there came into question like these priests that denied Jesus, like, are they allowed to continue to be priests if they like came back to the faith after persecution did? And it was a whole controversy, but like ultimately the council ruled that it was God working through the sacraments, not the priest. Um, and so I feel like I was going to go somewhere super profound with that, but
Well, I feel like
we kind of fell off. I don't know where I was going with that.
but that kind of connects with Peter, because Peter, if he would have admitted to those people like denying 3 times, if he didn't deny 3 times, who knows what would have happened to him? He could have been hung up there with Jesus too. You know what I'm saying? Because like in the
Yeah.
gospel, it's like he denies him three
It's
times in a fear that they would find out who he really was, and then that he would get persecuted like Jesus did and martyred.
that's I like that actually. Yeah, that's a good point.
It made sense.
That does make sense.
But it was all part of God's plan too, you know? It's like maybe that was a part of God's plan for them, but it's not ideal. Don't go denying Jesus now. Okay?
Yeah. Not not
Not a good.
advisable. And also again, the 21, look it up on YouTube. It's a 15-minute video. It is a wonderful short film, and it makes me have chills every time I watch it. So I can actually I'd like to thank my sponsor for that, uh, Isaac. Isaac showed me that video. So
Yes, Isaac. Let's go.
yeah, shout out to him.
If he watches,
If you watch this,
we say that about everybody. But like, Father Dan, if you're watching,
I don't think Father did watch this.
he did say he started one of our episodes.
Oh, did
I
he?
forget which one he told me, but
Well, now he'll have to watch.
now I have
Yes.
to watch.
Sam came on the podcast. I'm kidding.
You want to move on to the
Yeah.
question of the week?
Let's do it.
You came up with it. You can.
Oh, I didn't realize we were using that one. Okay. Question of the week is, well, based on the Beatitudes, which Beatitude speaks out to you most, and it can be something that you think, that you are like as a Beatitude, or something that you want to work on. So, I guess I can start that one. I think for me, it's the one I want to strive more for is, blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be satisfied. I talked a little bit about this in Micah's Bible study, and I just feel like it's hard to know whether I'm doing something for the will of God or for myself. And I feel like that's something I get anxious about all the time. Just because, you know, I don't know whether the passion I feel for something is something that I want and it's just going to die away in a few days, or if it's something that God wants me to do, and I want to pursue that. So I think that would be the one for me.
As I'm reading them, the one that stands out most to me, that I would say I like the most, is blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Because I feel like so many times someone dies and people mourn their deaths for like years, or they think like their life's like if someone lost their spouse, they're like, oh, my life's over. Like I have nothing else without them. Or uh I'm not saying this from experience, but like what if you're in a car crash and every single one person in your family dies but you? Like you have to live with that for the rest of your life and feel like
Survivor's guilt.
yeah. And that one's just like super hard for people and people resent God for that too. Um and I just that one, yeah. I like that one the best.
I think for me, the one that hunger and thirst for righteousness like that stuck out for me as well. But I think that blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the land. Um, and for me, I feel like I have a bit of a loud personality. I don't know if you guys would agree with that.
He's been pretty calm on the pod
Yeah, he has been
today.
pretty calm today.
No, I just mean like a loud personality. I like to joke around with people. Um, I think that's the way I show love to everyone. So if you're getting made fun of, it's because I like you. If I'm just absolutely tearing into you and exposing all of your, well, all of your,
He's looking at me while he's doing this.
yeah, 'cause I have some good examples that we're not gonna use. Anyways, I feel like I really am trying to work on keeping my mouth shut at certain times when I really ought to. Because Lord knows that my loud personality can sometimes get me in trouble or hurt the people that I don't mean to hurt, even if I don't mean it in an intentional way. I feel like that's the one that we ought to be striving for. Just be peaceful, be quiet, be me.
Be quiet.
I don't need a response for everything.
So if Sam compliments you, I would be worried.
He's having a bad day.
He's having a bad day.
Well, that
right.
brings us to our mini challenge of the week, and that is work on a beatitude that you struggle with this week. He's just cracking it open.
That sounded so
it's
satisfying.
been sitting here this entire time, and I completely forgot about it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it during the readings. So, but
That made a really satisfying noise, though.
it did. Yeah.
But yeah, work on a beatitude that you struggle with in your life. Were you good here? Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for watching. We'll pray for you. We hope you pray for us. Have a good week.
Bye.